Good morning. Welcome in, everybody. I hope that we're having a great start to this Wednesday. It might not be Taco Tuesday anymore, but it kind of feels like it. How is everybody doing today? Welcome in. Trump extended the deadline. I know a lot of people were voting that way in the poll yesterday morning. I guess not the deadline, extended the ceasefire, so to say. Posted it to Truth Social last night. Definitely hitting a lot of the headlines here today. Stock futures rise as Trump extends ceasefire with Iran. But there was some new updates this morning with Iran saying it seized 2 ships. So we did see that play out. Imagine being the captain of these ships out there. It'd be wild. SCI, next big squeeze is coming. SCI, Shipping Corporation of India. Haven't heard of this one, but it's definitely moving. Speaking of squeezes, how is CAR doing once again? Wow, CAR popping off towards $800. That's going to be a big level to break out past for Avis Budget Group today. CAR. And there it goes. Right through it like nothing. Kind of like butter. Be careful bag holding this one, but it's starting to move. Ooh, hopefully it holds through 800. It's getting very volatile here. A lot of back and forth with this one. Looking at SPY, it's had an uneventful open right now. Not doing too much at this second. Threw the watermark back on. See if it starts to move better. Mag 7 set up. All over the place right now. Mostly looks like red. Red is starting to hit the wire. These are some rough moves. Physical oil is 19% higher than the paper price. Gasoline prices are 30% higher than oil on the year, he has risen said. They said the market is manipulated for now, but oil is going to short squeeze. It's guaranteed, they said. I guess we'll see. Nothing's ever guaranteed, but not in my book. Now with the supply constraints coming through, I understand. Tangy Man said, all the cards in my hand are playing brilliantly today. That means I go look at uranium stocks right away. How's Poet? Ooh. I knew that one would make you happy again today, Tangy. Poet, another 20%er. Still popping off. CAR Well above $800. Yeah, well above 8. It just hit 820 actually. Nvidia is getting up there on the watch list too. Broke out well from yesterday, starting to bounce. A lot of the growth stocks getting it done once again today. Drone companies are moving. Unusual machines. FCEL moving. We like to see that. Good start for the big money trade. .7% mover here today. It's a great start to that big money trade. If that thing gets in the money soon, it would be crazy. KNMSO wants to sell that RCAT call. Yeah, hopefully we get a nice bounce back for RCAT. That would be good for you. Especially if it runs back up to 19 again. Which we could see happen. I wouldn't bank on it given the setup, but it's plausible. Ooh, Mason just posted, Trump has set a deadline for the Iran deal proposal per the Wall Street Journal. We need a lot more clarity going on here with these peace talks. It's wild. The deadline was supposed to be tonight, like, I think evening time in Washington or something. And then now, I just heard Trump was extending the ceasefire. Now we also are getting news. Trump says renewed U.S.-Iran talks could happen, quote, as soon as Friday, according to reports. Mediators in Pakistan and Iranian contacts are said to be pushing for a new round of negotiations within the next 36 to 72 hours, raising hopes of a breakthrough. Sheesh. Talk about more confusion, but that's generally good news. When are people going to finally think, oh, it's not going to happen? When are they going to finally think that? NVTS, another big growth player, running higher here today, getting close to 1780, which is the all-time high on, or well, the recent high on Nvidia. NVTS. It's a wild run. Check on the banks. We haven't checked on them in a couple days, and wow, I'm kind of glad I didn't. It's been back and forth, and flat. JP Morgan, Bank of America, not really moving too much. What about Wells Fargo, Goldman? Yeah, flatness all around lately for these banks. Now, they have been uptrending pretty well, some of them, but they're starting to slow down a lot. That's the same thing as last time. They flew to Pakistan and had no deal. Then ceasefire that Tuesday. Yep. It's like the cycle going on here. Wow, that's huge. That is huge. Let's go check out Tessie here, reporting in after hours today. Gonna be a big earnings report. Let's go ahead and run a poll up on everybody's favorite stock here. Good old Tesla. How is Elon Musk gonna end up reacting? Will he say anything big at the conference call? He just might. All right. How do we think the earnings are going to go? And then also, how's the direction? Will Tesla beat and pop on earnings? You can vote for beat and pop, beat and drop, miss and pop, or miss and drop. Sometimes they'll beat earnings, but maybe drop on the earnings conference call, or maybe the outlook, or something like that. Sometimes. Whoa, G-Dog's up 1,700%. Just posted it in the profits channel. G-Dog going nuts today. Wow. Daily P&L. Holy shit. 1,241. 1.5%. He set up 1,700%. Holy, which one? Either way, that's nice. Steve had some good gains with Poet this morning. That's pretty big. Tesla's looking pretty good right now off of support, though. 385. But get those votes in on the poll. I'm curious. What do you guys think about Tesla? Seriously. Get it in. Miss and drop and beat and pop are tied. We got to get more tiebreakers. Some of these votes lately have been pretty close. Go check back in on the SPY quickly. Good to see it holding up here at 708. Definitely good to see. It's good to see for the bulls anyways. If we do see this range here start to break down today, that's where I'm going to start to flip more to the bearish side. Because there is that little gap up from this morning around 707. And really, once that breaks, it's game on. Hell yeah, Tangy dubs in the chat for sure. IMSR and SMR are up. IMSR. Terrestrial energy, 6.9%. That's Tangy's favorite. I like the way that's moving. 8.16, 8.15 resistance. This one really pulled back since coming on the market, Tangy. Starting to form a base and hold support. This one's interesting. And guys, like, we don't even have to get that crazy with it. Like, the risk reward ratio could be pretty solid if you use the recent low as like a support. Let's say just under $5 as like your stop, and you target like that recent peak. We're talking a risk reward of 2.19, which I think that looks really solid. Like, if you have a long-term outlook here, you could just trade shares like no problem with something like this, and you know, hold it through a period. Hell, if not even targeting higher, really. And if you did, then your risk reward is like shooting through the roof. So Tangy Man says OSS. Yeah. G-Dog earlier said 650.50 is the wall on QQQ. 650.50. Let's see. Definitely acted like one. Yeah, risk reward is really solid if you look at it like that. Grabbing a drink of water really quickly. Make sure you're staying hydrated today, guys. Definitely stay hydrated. Robinhood is up like 300 to 400%. My bad, y'all. HOOD. Really nice jump up here recently. Nice one to follow. How's Tilray and CGC? They've been starting to come back and look a little bit better in the short term. Not saying that they're great, but they're coming back a bit. Time to check out Mag 7. Nvidia pulling back. Right around $200 at the moment. That's pretty big for stock like Nvidia. Make sure to vote up in the poll, though, on Tesla. Reporting in after hours. So we have 21 votes. We need to get more votes in. Will Tesla beat and pop on earnings? Looks like miss and drop is what most people are voting for Tesla. I'm kind of surprised so far. G-Dog says, should have held my poet 13 strike calls. They said 110 apiece. I had 6. Oh, you got them for $5. And now they're 110. That's insane. Look at Nvidia on the bottom left-hand side there, starting to really break through 200. Not looking good here intraday. Definitely not looking too great. Google's starting to actually pop back to the upside a little bit here at this very second. How are some of these stocks like Nvidia holding up here? Not super great. FCEL's up 15% though, still love to see that. Of course, Poet getting close to 20% as well. Strategy's up around 10%. MSTR, wow, right around 180 right now. They recently sold off through $200. Trying to make a little comeback here. Good pop back from open today though, for sure. What else do we have moving? Oklo? Oklo's not terrible. POET, hard not to look at that. Wow, Poet's up 20% and it pulled back. CAR is slowing down a little bit. Oh yeah. Had a nice jump this morning up to 850. That was a really good initial run. But slowed down. It was a great initial move. You said GEV. GE Verona jumped up on earnings. 14% pop. It's crazy how good GEV has actually been. Maybe Coin. Still holding above 200 now for Coin. Weak correlation to the SPY over the past year at minus 0.13. Kind of strange. But as we know, Coinbase likes to follow more of Bitcoin. Some of these metals companies, like literally the metals company, has had some great PA lately. It's moving up 6% today. USAR, a rare earth company, doing well. 12% today for USAR. The CSP free money glitch ran out, Tangi said. He said self storage, that's it. Let's go back to Mag 7. Do a check-in here. Wow, Tesla came back. Tesla's still on the prowl. Nvidia at $200 as well. Keep watching that. Especially for more potential breakdown. Crazy price action lately. Look at SPY at the top. It looks like a heartbeat monitor. It's flat as heck. Flat but choppy, you know, up and down. So not totally flat, but, you know, flat within this little like $1 range, which is very boring. Like, we want to see some real price action, you know? Microsoft's up 1% on the top right. Google's up 1.5% on the second from the top right. Starting at the top left, we have SPY, 0.69% on the day. Tesla's up 1.22% just to the right of that. On the bottom left, we have Nvidia, moving under 200. Apple, just to the right of that one. Then Meta and Amazon. Everything's green besides Nvidia today, which kind of sucks. There isn't really a real price that it needs to hit before it drops, Manicured. It's hard to say. It's hard to put a number out there like that. Nearly impossible. SPY, though, while it's holding its ground, at least it's not dropping. It's a pretty good sign, especially with these talks kind of deteriorating and then Trump having to extend the deadline again. All right, 1 second, guys. Gonna grab a quick drink again. Ran out of water. 1 minute. All right. Sorry about that. We are back, and SPY started to move up a little bit. This is a good little positive sign for the SPY. There is some resistance right around 710 that I see, but it doesn't mean that it has to sit right at 710 and stay there. We'll see how it reacts, though, because 710 has seen a lot of reaction on SPY here around this range. But past that, there's really not much resistance until you get to the all-time high. It's 712.38. Not much at all. Nvidia, 9.85%. Let's go back and check CAR, C-A-R. Ooh, started dropping off a little bit. Had that nice opening push and then gave it back. Be careful with CAR. It's not one I would want to hold on a downtrend. You could scalp it up, but I wouldn't want to hold it too long on a downtrend, especially if you're trying to trade it higher. With how high it's gotten, you don't know how it's going to end up reacting. What a crazy, crazy play. Back to Tesla. The big earnings player tonight. We had 29 votes in the poll. Keep voting and getting those votes in. Beat and Pop is winning on the vote right now, 31%. Very close, though, all around on the poll. Close all around. Let's see, Palantir. 2.3% today. Nice pop up for Palantir. Sitting right at the 150 resistance in the short term. This is right where it rejected yesterday, isn't it? Yep. To watch that for potential double top action. But maybe Palantir can get some momentum going and break through. That would be awesome. Fuel Cell still holding higher as well. Up 15% still. Nice to see it holding. Trending pretty well on the day. MSTR was doing great. Started to come down a little bit now, though. Still up 10%. Look at the bottom right. It actually has strong negative correlation to the SPY at minus 0.75, which is one of the worst that I've seen. Probably because it's done nothing but die off recently. It did bounce, though, off of a major zone of support. It is now getting close to big resistance, close to 200, to like anywhere from like 185 up to 200. There's a lot of resistance on MSTR. LEU is up 9% and not stopping, Tangi says. LEU. Centrus Energy Corp. Looking great off of that base. Looks awesome, Tangi. Resistance is here, like right around 211.50. And then past that, like 217 and 220. Yeah, some big levels coming up for LEU. It'd be nice to really push past this recent high, which it might go for today. The momentum's definitely there. Sanji Man's been slowly buying this one on the dip. Wow, yeah, love the recovery. If we get the old Wumbo pattern, you'll really love it. Just kidding, of course. SNDK, STX, and WDC gave up their morning pop. SanDisk. A lot of these memory chip players you're naming there. Yep, STX. Seagate. SNDK's looked weird the past few trading days. Seems like they're sticking to the script. They have these like continual sell-offs. They're not really getting anything going in either direction. STX, let's check that one. Seagate. They actually had a nice gap up this morning, but you're right. Yeah, gave it back hard. WDC. Same deal. How about MRVL, another chip stock? Might not be like more of a memory, but yeah, doing pretty good. They're starting to bounce back, actually, which is nice to see. FCEL, fuel cell. Love the start to the big money trade. Looking at the looking at the daily, you can see how they've been in like this big wedge pattern here. This is a good pattern to break here. Officially breaking the downtrend and everything. Looking really solid. Great start. One more day like this tomorrow, or just a couple more days, would be like icing on the cake. $32 votes now. Thanks for voting as always. Beat and Pop is winning and tied with Beat Dash Drop. QQQ's fighting the 650-50 level that we mentioned earlier, G-Dog said. Technically broke out past it here to a new all-time high, didn't it? Yeah, it did. New all-time high technically made here on QQQ just now. Ended up getting through it a little bit. See if it holds or not, though. Seems like the Momo's there. It's back. Oracle's continuing. I love it, Jake. Yeah, Oracle has been one of the better recoveries in software here recently. Adobe's another one. ADBE, not as strong though, I'd say. Not as strong. Nice and consistent though. Today it's up 4%, which is cool, but I know we've been looking at IGV too. IGV coming back like crazy for whoever decided to hold these calls from the big money trade. Lincoln made me laugh in the SM chat here. Bob Saget says Apple's playing for once. AAPL, I know it had a pretty nice jump back today again. It's recovering up following the Tim Cook leaving sell-off. Tim Cook leaving as Apple's CEO kind of sent it down there for a couple of days, but it's roaring right back. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a good thing for Tim Cook to step down, but he'll still be on the board and probably in control. Pretty insane day for Apple, though. No kidding. The momentum intraday is really there, and it's starting to pop in a pretty solid way. Continue looking for more good price action with Apple like this. Sometimes whenever they trend, they can trend extremely well. Back to Nvidia we go, though, one of our favorites here. Lately, still up 10%, but did pull back a little bit following that massive rip up to 18. Made a new recent high and kind of more rejected and double topped at that high rather than broke it. It did break it, but not, you know, as crazily as it could have. SPY's breaking 610, Zachary said. 710, yeah. Breaking out in a great way. Sorry, I saw the correction right after. But yeah, nice breakout. Good to see it getting through finally. It had a little bit of trouble there today. Little bit of trouble, but finally pushed through. The bulls are definitely happy. Yeah, AMD's coming back very well too, pushing back above 290, which is good to see. Definitely strong. Definitely a strong push there. Appreciate it, Narf. Oh, Megalift says, can you lower the music? Yeah, sure, I'll load her a little bit if it needs to be down. There we go. Sorry about that. Wow, AMD really is coming back very strong. Yeah, CAR's in a rough spot. It's going to be hard for this one to hold up and, you know, get that momentum again like yesterday. Had some wild price action so far this morning. Gonna have to see how it holds. Back to the watch list we go. NMAX Newsmax climbing up to the top of the watch list today. Up 16.35%. Yeah, Newsmax is nice here on the 1 minute. They have any news? Yeah, NMAX is looking pretty solid. Gonna keep it on the radar for possible breakout or even a move into tomorrow. Visa, big money trade is stagnant, as Xavier said. Hey, at least it's not too bad. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Called out April 14th. Yeah, it's all the way back down now again. Here's the thing with a trade like this that is something that we have to keep in mind with it. You're right though, it is stagnant, Xavier. No kidding and no denying that. But looking at Visa here, like whenever you see a stock bouncing off of support like this, and then there's also like, let's say a level like what I'm looking at right here, where you have this little peak or valley, I should say, right before that low, you always have to watch out for potential like retests of this zone. So like overall, like what we're seeing is kind of like a big zone right here, and the stock will probably consolidate within said zone for a little while until finally getting through. You don't know how long it's going to be going in here for, right? And you're not really trying to guess the perfect time for a break. Now, it would be awesome to get the perfect time correct, and sometimes you will, but you know, sometimes you have to let it really chop around these zones before finally letting it go. Like it could go all the way down to $300 here and then make a massive recovery bounce. And that's like where sometimes with these trades, you know, you have to be able to hold through some volatility and some time rather than, you know, hoping that it goes up like super quickly. But a lot of these big money traders, like, they understand that, you know, there's gonna be like a lot of chop before it goes. Can you say, I know I made a lot of money trading AMC, but I would never hold it long. And Tandy says, ISRG. Another one of my quiet background buys. ISRG, I know, you've been talking about that one quite a bit. Intuitive Surgical? Maybe you were talking about it like just the other day or something, but wow, okay, so they had earnings. They had earnings and died initially, but came back. Wow. What a move, Tangy. What a move. Now check back in on Nvidia. Pulling down a little bit. Let's see how strategy is shaping up. MSTR as well, starting to pull back a little bit. A lot of stocks slowing down here intraday. Tangy Man said Visa is a tough bet right now. The fundamentals aren't there. The main thing with Visa is the chart is very enticing with Visa at the moment. Yeah, I understand the long term there. Possible long-term concerns. As long as we just get a nice bounce here into June, we'll be all right. Hey, Tom, what is driving the market upwards today? Is it Taco Trump's extension? Yes, it is, KO. Good question. Yeah, the market's mainly been getting driven up the past couple days again from this Taco extension, especially yesterday, though. You know, we mainly saw sell-offs yesterday, but right here is literally where Trump did the Taco extension, and now we're running right back up. SPY's done nothing but rise since that extension was hit. I mean, it's had periods of flatness like at open today, but it's done pretty well overall. It's a really good bounce. Cause from that extension, exactly. I'm surprised Trump's doing it, but again, I guess I'm not surprised either. Ramirez says MU. Wow, is it moving up again? AMD was hot earlier. Oh, yeah. MU is crushing it. 6% ripper today. Awesome. Look at that daily chart of MU starting to break out extremely nicely. Sounds like I made that word up. Breaking out in a strong way. That is nice. 480 coming up on MU. Let's see it on the book map. Oh, I don't have it. Okay. We'll add MU real quick. There we go. Oh yeah, 480 is a pretty big one here. It's definitely the biggest like wall coming up today. Before we hit 500 anyhow. 500's a little bit bigger than 480, but 480 does kind of compare to it. You know, that's just how big it's been. A lot of these sell walls, though, got blasted right through today, like 475, 470, like no problem. So we'll see if that trend continues here. It's been a very strong move starting to play. Looks great, though. What's your opinion on Serve? Serve Robotics. Tangyman said, but robotics are the future. There is a near constant tailwind on any robotics company that can deliver. Great jump by Serve. Palantir, resistance, please, CM said. PLTR. Looking at the daily right now, looks awesome. Just looking straight up for resistance. Oh, wow, broke through a nice level there. Let's go to the hourly. Can't get much clarity on the daily right there with it. It's like in a big chop zone. In the middle of the chop zone, though, there's been a lot of reaction at 153. But especially up around 156 is going to be the next big one. 156. Serve Robotics, though. You know, that's a company that I just don't know enough fundamentally about. Now, robotics itself is a big topic. It's obviously been something that is highly, highly talked about on the radar. It is the future. In my eyes, and as we look at Serve, it's one of the stocks that's had a lot of good momentum. It's tough to say, you know, which companies are going to prevail most, but it seems like Serve is, you know, positioned pretty well. It definitely seems like something you'd have to hold for quite a while. The big money trade on S, Sentinel-1, is doing pretty well. Let's see. Yeah, love it. Love it. S started to really break this downtrend, which is a positive thing to be seeing here. It is doing a little bad today, down 0.35%, but overall, yeah, starting to perform very well. As long as it holds this lower range of support, we're all set with Sentinel. It might chop around a little bit here. Don't be surprised, but ultimately we're looking for that breakout to occur and the gap to possibly fill up to like 17. That would be perfect. Getting that gap fill would be really nice. They've been really selling off, Tangy. Good thing they bounced here at 12. Hell yeah, Aoli said it's up 75%. Yeah, very, very strong since they got it. They were like 1 day early with it, but either way, they pretty much sniped it, yeah. Good snipe by the big money trader there. Back to Tessie. Don't forget to vote up in the poll. 53 votes now. The votes have been coming through steady. Beat and Pop is winning right now, 34%. Excuse me. Oh, Tansy was in it for a long time ago. Gotcha. Poet was a stock that was running up a ton this morning. Did it start coming back? Nope. Not yet. Still turning over pretty hard. Newsmax is now up 23%. Wow, talk about getting even more momentum starting to hit. Nice. I wonder how long it can continue today. Every time I look at it, it keeps popping higher. These stocks go crazy. Newsmax, pretty crazy stock though. Still starting to run. Check out Fuel Cell. Coming back at all? Nope, still very flat. It's been stuck up here since that initial opening run. I keep turning back to it in hopes that we finally see it starting to break this little intraday range that it's stuck in, but we're not really getting there. I want to see it get out of this range. SMR had that nice pop earlier too, also kind of stuck in a range. Similar situation. Beyond Meat had some good movement coming through yesterday, or a couple days ago I should say, on Monday into Tuesday. Slowed down a lot though. It is up 8% today, but it is a $1 stock, so little moves cause it to move by like 10%. Tangy says, do you want me to crash Fuel Cell? Oh no. I'm gonna ban you from this one. No, go ahead. You just put an order in, so if Tangy does, I'm sure it'll go down. Hilarious. USA Rare Earths. USAR up 7% even with the pullback here. Like I said, just about everything's pulling back intraday, so tough to find them on that side. Of course, AMD still has some nice action. It's having trouble breaking 296, but we're getting close to $300 here on AMD. Would be awesome to test and maybe break 300. Have it on the book map here too. 242,000 sellers stacked up at 300 and 49,000 at 299. So essentially 300K shares at that range. That's pretty insane. It's a lot of sellers stacking up for sure. Let's look at the earnings lineup though again. Just to see what we have. Tonight, NOW will be reporting. ServiceNow. NOW. Lockheed reports tomorrow in pre-market. It'd be awesome if Lockheed reports like some good numbers coming through from the war helping or something, but I don't know. It definitely didn't help Raytheon too much. Boeing's actually been popping back in a pretty strong way lately. Very interesting move. Strange daily chart though. They're in a strange spot between, you know, airlines and their war capabilities. They did pop up a little bit on earnings today, 3.04%, but nothing big. Didn't really see anything too crazy. The CEO says all systems are go to increase 737 production as company narrows loss. They're ramping up production of their 737 MAX to 47 a month from 42 this summer. We're hearing very good things about the quality of our airplanes. I hope you're hearing good things because, man, remember Boeing had like a terrible situation there for about like a year where it just seemed like it was negative headline after negative headline. It was insane. Always something going wrong. Always some problem hitting them. See you later, G-Dog. Appreciate you joining up today. He says, I'm out. Have a great day. Out of most of my possessions, well, got a little something. LOL, peace. See you later, G-Dog. Have a great one. Back to the SPY we go. Everybody's favorite. What is the SPY going to be doing here? still trended up pretty nice here intraday. Probably like draw something out like this. Still kind of bouncing and trying to trend higher. The uptrend is still intact. Now as earnings, looking at NOW on the daily, it's been trying to come back. You can see how NOW recently broke under a major trend, which is a bad sign. But now they have earnings. If earnings shoots them back through that, that would be a good sign. But it is bearish now to be under there. And you know, you could say that there's a rejection possibly coming off of here. If the earnings go south and it rejects, it would be a very, very rough sign. Could definitely help, or sorry, hurt the chances of a buy the dip scenario. Mir said TQQQ has been moving up slowly, but moving up nonetheless. It is up 3.6% today. The Pro shares Ultra Pro QQQ. Yeah, coming back really nicely. From the recent low to the recent high, it's up 59% over the course of this QQQ rally. Bob Saget said, we'll be in a range until power hour. You watch. Little SPY range action. It is pretty stuck in the range here. One second. Thoughts on ALAB 190 recovery. Let's see ALAB 190. It looks like one of those situations where ALAB is hitting support, and I would not be surprised if it tried to recover up. The question is how far will it get before it ultimately tries to turn back down? It seems like something that's going to possibly turn back over and to the downside in my eyes, or just not have, like, you know, a lot of strength back up. Now, every time that ALAB has done this on the way up, or at least recently, you know, it has recovered. So if you're going off of just straight recovery, you know, you stop out under the low of the day, somewhere like that, and you know, you'll buy and try to ride the wave up as high as you can intraday. I think for a play like that, with a similar thesis and a similar outlook, would be an okay way to go at it. Almost setting it up something like this. I don't know, probably something like this, or maybe make your reward a little bit better, out to like 1.44. Obviously the option might be different, but we get the gist, right? 175 to 175.50 is huge support coming up too. If this does end up breaking down, really watch 175. That would be a big level to test. Pretty insane setup, though, with ALAB, how much it's been coming back. Made 400 bucks on 2 Apple calls. I think I'm out as well, Bob said. Awesome. Hey, great stuff. It sounds like you timed it up pretty well. Apple is starting to turn over now, so I don't blame you. You know, take some good profits and lock it in. Great stuff, Bob. Dubs in the chat for you, good sir. Elite says, you think May 29th 93 strike calls are deep enough to hold through earnings on now, or should I just cut in your opinion? May 29th 93 strikes. I think that they're deep enough to hold, but we just have to understand the risk, right? You know, if ServiceNow, like, let's just say earnings go bad and it gaps down and, you know, tomorrow it's trading for like 88 to 90, that's going to be looking pretty rough for those 93 strikes that are now going out of the money. If you're up on the play, though, and you have some wiggle room, I think that you're totally fine to hold through and, you know, kind of see how it plays out. Just understand the risk. You know, if it falls down towards like 88 to 90, if that's going to like blow up your account, then hell no. But as long as you're being smart with the risk there and, you know, you're not over leveraged on it, I think it's fine. Now, if you're entering it today, I don't love that, but I'm hoping that you entered and you're up on it a little bit, or you've been holding it with like a long-term outlook. Oh, so you're up 7K right now on them. $90 would be break even. In that case, if I were you, I would really suggest locking in some. Since it seems like, I don't know how much 7K is on that, but like, let's just say, you know, you're up a fairly high percentage. In that case, I love locking some in. You can't go wrong with that. And then you have a lot of wiggle room in case it does fall too. It really helps you with your risk, and you'll lock in. Because the options might end up decaying pretty hard after earnings anyways, just from the IV crush. So keep that in mind. That'll hit the pricing a little bit too. When I first screwed with options, I got destroyed by earnings IV crush like 5 times. That sucked, Tangi said. Yeah, everybody does that with earnings with options. Seems like it takes It takes everybody a few bad times to finally learn on that side. Cost of education is still cheaper than the cost of ignorance, Tangi says. That's an interesting thought. SPY getting very slow here around 710. Holding up right on support zone intraday. It formed this resistance this morning right around 709.35 to 709.50, and it's bouncing right around there here at this second. Keep it on the radar. Pretty big spot for it. Thoughts on ENVX, Ryan asked. Sounds like a pharmaceutical. ENVX Corporation. ENVX calls. It was a big money trade on ENVX. Called out on April 6th. It's done pretty well. Slowly climbing higher up to resistance around 7. With the time that ENVX has, it might end up chopping back around here for a minute in this lower zone before ultimately breaking resistance. But ideally, we see this resistance break at 7, and then that's where we really capitalize on a big move with ENVX. I think that that's the way to go with this stock in this trade. It's done pretty well though from the initial buy, so you could always lock in some gains here if you wanted, and I don't think it's a bad idea at all. But I would definitely be mindful that we might get a slight pullback off of resistance. And earnings are coming up May 6th as well, so you're gonna have to hold through that if you have the true longer term outlook with ENVX. ENVX has been dying though, but note how this company, whenever it dies, it has these great recoveries that come into play with it. And that's the one really nice thing with ENVX. If we do get a nice recovery starting here and it does what it's been doing, because what it does is whenever it's dropping, it actually makes a new low and a new bottom. And then that's where it starts to rip, is off of that new low and that new bottom. Now, it's not making new lows by a ton. It's just by a little bit each time, maybe $1, maybe 70 cents. It's a lower price stock, but each time it's making a new low just barely. And now again, it did that same exact pattern here and made another new low. And like I said, off these previous lows that it makes, it's been ripping back in a strong way. So I think that we're good to hold and target more to the upside with with ENVX. You know, if we're going to get a good move with this one, I think that it's worth it to, you know, give it a bit more time and see like if it's going to maybe get back up to test this trend again or something like that. I don't think that you should be targeting like up here, up here, up here, or up here even, but I do think that targeting like somewhere along the trend line would be good. Like let's say 13, 12, or even like 11 would be a great level to get to. And really, there's a gap to fill here up to like 11, 14. I mean, that once we start getting to like 11, that's going to be like, you know, at that point, just start taking some profit and locking in. But it might take a while to get there, so might have to hold for a couple months. Good stuff, Ryan, though. I like you bringing it back up. Rick said, also be careful of your source of information. An old boss of mine used to say, is it shared information or shared ignorance? That's a good point. Definitely a good point. I think now destroys earnings and goes to 125 plus minimum, YouTube says. You're looking for now to destroy earnings and go to 125 plus minimum. That would be beautiful if it did. It'll make a lot of people happy. Hot Sauce said, Tom, can you please talk about drawing support and resistance lines? Yeah, sure. You know, support and resistance it's pretty simple, but getting the correct ones and the bigger ones are kind of where the skill comes into play, so to say. As we look at like support and resistance, you know, of course, SPY is something that, you know, we're looking at all the time, right? So whenever you think of support and resistance, you need to think about it like zones, right? It's pretty rare that you're going to have just an exact level where SPY is going to bounce or react at a lot of the time, right? So you'll see these zones starting to like establish. And, you know, right now we have a couple of these zones with the SPY. You know, if we go to like a 5-minute, we can see that over the past few trading days, you know, you would definitely identify these peaks here. So like right where I'm putting in a red box, you would identify those couple of peaks being close together. And then you can tell that these two are also right there. And then you go through, you know, all of this is essentially right there too. So you found yourself a really good zone of resistance here. Or sorry, well, it was resistance at one point. And by the way, old resistance becomes support and vice versa. So if you have an old support and it breaks down, Now it's resistance. Same thing with resistances giving out and then becoming support. But as we look at the SPY, you can see all these bounces. So this zone is going to be a major zone of support. Now, as we go through and we look at resistance, we say, okay, where has the SPY been bouncing at, to the upside here? There's a couple levels. So like right here, there was a lot of action and bounces within that zone. And then right here, and then right here. So essentially, again, we just marked out like all the same exact spot, just shown like 3 different ways, right? But essentially, that zone there covers the resistance, close to 711 to 711.30, essentially is what we're looking at. And then the next one, clear double top, right at 712. So you're trying to find these big peaks and these big valleys where you see lots of price action shifts at. And you'll generally see that identified, like I said, with these wicks on the candles where, you see like a wick like right here and right here and these wicks, all touching like the same zone. And of course, there's like broader support, like what we just looked at, and broader resistance. And then, of course, there's a lot of smaller intraday levels. You can identify like all of these touches right here and draw that out as a good zone of support now. And then resistance is, of course, right here where we had a couple of hits right around 710. There is even more minor support at like 710.20. I know that's kind of strange. And then even up around 710.70, but we're getting pretty intraday whenever we do that. Again, it's not usually beneficial to identify those super small levels like that. Normally you want to stick to the broader levels to catch the, bigger moves out there in the market. KNMSO says Newsmax. Damn, they said I thought I was done today, but maybe not. Yeah, Newsmax now up 28%. Yeah, no joking. The momentum's there today on Newsmax, for real. I wonder what Newsmax's short float is. Only 11%, but that's some great momentum. How is CAR too? Avis Budget Group. Oh yeah. Slowing down really hard here at 770. Let's look at Newsmax again. Go look at it on the daily. Big jump up, 28%. That's going to be a tough one to follow here tomorrow. Some of these Discord messages get me cracking up, guys. QQQ still going up today again. 652.50. SOX was on a historic streak. And we can see how SOX up 1.49%. That is a big move there. Up again today. I forgot how many straight sessions this was, but I think it was pushing like 20 sessions or something. Talk about crazy. Yeah, be careful holding through earnings, guys. I know everybody wants to try to play like NOW up, or, you know, they want to try to hit on Tesla somehow. Just be careful, guys. It's very tough with options. Of course, you know, if you do it, just realize that there's some pretty high risk there. Just realize that. Yeah, I actually was checking out Boeing a lot earlier. Olaf, or sorry if I mispronounced that. Oluf. Yeah, here we go with Boeing. They had earnings, so they actually popped up pretty well on earnings this morning, which was nice. I even have the article up here. What the? Trump administration advanced talks for Spirit Airlines rescue package. No way. He's gonna save Spirit Airlines. Come on. Why are we saving Spirit Airlines? It says that, oh, I see. White House spokesman Kush Desai, Kush, said that Spirit Airlines would be on a much firmer financial footing had the Biden administration not recklessly blocked the airline's merger with JetBlue. The Trump admin continues to monitor the situation and overall health of the U.S. aviation industry as millions of Americans rely on every day for essential travel and their livelihoods. Yeah, that is true. They were told they weren't allowed to merge, and then there they go. Maybe that is a good reason then, because I don't think that, you should be blocking all of those either all the time. Biden's probably friends with the Delta CEO or something, so that's why they blocked it. Cheaper planes. I don't know about that, almighty. Yeah, but Boeing did have some information. All systems are go. They're increasing 737 production to 47 instead of 42 a month. The manufacturer is still producing its 737 MAX cash cow at a rate of 42 a month. That sounds hilarious. They expect certification of their long-delayed 737 MAX 7 and MAX 10 later this year, with delivery starting in 27. Okay. All systems are go, they said. Their loss per share was 20 cents versus a loss of 83 cents expected. And their revenue beat expectations too. Sales rose 14% in the first quarter to 22.22 billion. 2222. Twos all around there. They narrowed their net loss in the first quarter to 7 million or 11 cents a share from 31 million or 16 cents a share a year earlier. So not too bad. Lockheed. Are they moving? Lockheed's dying again today. These defense stocks are getting crushed. Like, gosh, whether you look at Lockheed or RTX or Northrop or any of them, it's wild how much they've dropped since this conflict started. I still can't believe how much they've dropped. Remember a few years ago when 737s were just randomly falling out of the sky, Tangy ass? Yeah, Boeing was getting destroyed during that time. Where was it where the headlines just seemed like it was never ending? Was it like this period? Or was it like this period last year? I can't quite put my finger on it, but it was getting hilarious at that point. Yeah, Cheesy Palantir's doing pretty good today. Looks like they're pulling back a bit now, but yeah, they were doing great this morning. Very solid to see. Just saw a video of my 337 speed where he talked about when a few people entered a Fox Body Mustang into the German DTM and it was a fan favorite. Looked cool as hell. You know what's funny, Ramirez? I think you might have actually told me about that before. Funny enough, that's hilarious. Go back to advanced money dispenser. Man, AMD, that is huge running up to 300 though. 297 coming into play. Gonna probably end up breaking here. Love it though. Let's go, AMD. Keep it going. Beautiful. Just about the car, but you saw the video. Hell yeah. I was actually driving that thing this weekend, Ramirez. Cube under $40. Yes, please. This is another storage thing. Cube smart. Tangy. Wow, you know, Cube smart. Oh. It's getting close to the support again. Kind of consolidating. It might end up bouncing. This is an interesting setup, Tangy. I know you've looked at it before, because I wouldn't have had these lines on here from me. Yep. It just sounded like a storage company, too. Big support, though, again. Wow. Like, buying up this lower range here for a bounce. Not a bad play. Not a bad play. Tangy buys at 40 every time. Yeah. 40 is a nice one. I can't believe how many bounces come in at 40. Sometimes it gets a little under there, but it's been very consistent. But alrighty, guys, we're going to go ahead and end the live there today. Not the most exciting day in the stock market ever, but the SPY has been trying to move a bit higher overall. It's holding our lower intraday support zone here. Right around. I'm going to go to a 1-minute chart to make it look easier for you. 709.35 to 709.50. Holding that zone right now. Might try to, you know, continue to move off of that. Keep your eyes on the SPY. Sitting around 710. The QQQ has been very hot. Some stocks like AMD have been really taking over the show today, along with stuff like Newsmax, NMAX. But we're going to call it there. Appreciate all of you for joining up. Even the lurkers out there who don't type or say anything. Thanks for turning us on in the background. I hope you get some value out of it, hearing some of these setups and ideas. Different plays as we look at them. I hope that you all have a great rest of the day. It's Wednesday, which means tonight is live Q&A night. Yes, live Q&A night is here. Check out the link I'm sending in the chat to join up on the trading floor. Join up if you're not in there yet. If you're having a good week, we have a lot of tools and information, education, things available to help you out as a trader. Things to help you make your own decisions and do it yourself. Tangy Man coming through with the 10 spot. Let's go, Tangy. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that as always. Love that to end the stream. Now I'm going straight to McDonald's. We know how that is.
All right, all right, all right.
Appreciate you, Tangy. Poet's going up again, Healthy Cooking says. Newsmax kept ripping too, almost hitting $10, now up 32% on the day. Talk about something crazy. That is where the craziness goes. All right, guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll talk to you later. See ya.